I'm Brandon Griffing, broker owner of Griffing Realty Group in the Austin, Leander, Texas area. Today we're going to be talking about the option period. And I get questions from first-time home buyers as well as buyers who have experience and have purchased properties. They have questions about the option period as well. So I thought I'd make a quick video to talk about what is involved, the major aspects of the option period in residential contracts in Texas. So the option period was designed so that buyers have an opportunity to do their due diligence on the property, to decide if they want to move forward with the purchase or if they would like to terminate their contract. So the option period is written into the residential purchase contract, and there are two major elements to it. There's a time frame element and a fee element. The fee is paid to the seller. It's actually paid to the seller via the title company, but the ultimate destination for that fee is the seller. It's a non-refundable fee. So if the buyer decides they want to terminate the contract and look for another property, that money stays with the seller. So the time element is usually what we've seen in the past is 7 to 10 days was fairly common. With today's low inventory sellers market, what we're seeing, what I'm seeing in contracts and what I'm writing in and advising my buyer clients is 1 to 3 days. So you can imagine with a tighter inventory scenario, sellers would like to have their property off the market for a shorter length of time. Essentially, that's what a seller is doing. They're giving the buyer an opportunity to do their due diligence, and by doing that, they're taking their property off the market. Of course, there could still be buyers waiting in the wings if this buyer does in fact terminate. But during the option fee, the property is essentially off the market. The fees have typically been, $200, $300, $400, $500, $1,000 was a pretty hefty option fee. But again, with a low inventory market that is a seller's market, what I'm seeing is much higher option fees that are almost an extension of the earnest money. $2,000, $5,000, $8,000. I saw a contract with a $12,000 option fee. This is a strategy that some buyers are taking on properties that they know will have multiple offers, to give themselves a leg up and to prevail in having their offer accepted. Now, that you have to be very cautious in doing that, and obviously have you consult your realtor, broker, or attorney, whoever's assisting you. But you better make sure that property is you really want it, and that you have a very detailed seller's disclosure and detailed update and maintenance records for the property. But it is a strategy that can be successful. So let's go back and talk about the significance to a buyer. You're in the option period. The option period starts the day after the effective date of the contract. So you have a contract that is fully executed, all parties have signed, there's an effective date. The option period starts the day after that effective date and then ends at 5 p.m. on the last day of the option period. So during that time frame, the buyer has an opportunity to have a general home inspection, a roof inspection, a swimming pool inspection, septic system inspection if there's a septic system, if there's a well, have a well inspection. You might want to have the foundation reviewed if there's some issues that you're concerned about there. This is your time as a buyer to, again, do your due diligence on the property. Let's say you have your inspection, you look at it, it looks fairly clean. There are a couple of items that you'd like the seller to repair. Normally your realtor broker will talk to the seller's realtor broker and negotiate those items. If you can come to an agreement, normally what happens is the seller on an amendment says, yes, I will take care of items 1 and 2 that you, the buyer, have asked about. And the buyer in turn then says, well, if you'll do that, I will exit option and move forward with the purchase. So the buyer says, thanks for agreeing to take care of these items. In exchange, let's move forward. The seller has peace of mind knowing that the contract's moving forward. The option fee can be, or option period, can be extended if, let's say, for example, the buyer is having trouble getting a vendor out to look at an item of question. The option period can be extended if the seller agrees to do so. And it's, again, drawn up on an amendment for a number of days for an additional option fee. Now, there's debate in the real estate circles in Texas about whether a fee even has to be paid to extend the option. In my opinion, and it's only my opinion, if I'm advising buyers, I say go ahead and put an option fee for the extension of $20, $25, $30, $50, whatever you feel is reasonable, and then you've got some monetary consideration given to the seller for that privilege. And then you can rest easy. There's no debate about it. The buyer, if they get an inspection report maybe that has a lot of surprises and some very expensive items, they may decide to terminate and say this is not the property for us. That's done via a form that's promulgated by the Texas Real Estate Commission that the buyer's realtor or broker will fill out, have the buyer sign and submit to the seller's realtor or broker saying we are terminating our contract. The significance for the seller is is sort of more nuanced than it is for the buyer. The seller may get some insight, they may not, but they may get some insight into what the buyer is going to be like working with this buyer throughout the remainder of the contract, just by how if there are items on the inspection report that come up and how those are relayed, how they're communicated. It may give the seller some insight as to how this is going to go moving forward. Remember, if the buyer is obtaining financing, it's going to be at least 30 days, normally 30, could be 45. It might be a little less. I've had some closings in 25 days, but normally 30 to 35 days is pretty common from the time that we have an effective date until a close date. So you're going to be working with this person for a while. It may be somebody you may not choose to work with, but that's really the buyer's in the driver's seat at this point in the contract. If you have additional questions about the option period in the Central Texas, Austin area, reach out. If you're interested in selling or purchasing a property in the Austin area, give me a call. I'd love to help. Thank you.